All right, what is up, my peeps? Joshua Smithy with another GSD Mode podcast real estate tip, where every single week I come to you delivering different tips, tactics, and strategies to help you get shit done inside your real estate business and help you ensure you are crushing and dominating your overall real estate goals. All right, so it's been a minute since I created one of these videos talking about paid Facebook ads and how to crush it and kick ass in your business with creating and converting paid Facebook ads. So I figured I'd do a new one, man. New year, always changes taking place on how we create our ads. Facebook's always changing shit up, So I wanted to do that today and do a deep dive into this. So we're gonna break down how to create your ads, but then how to convert them, right? Because, like, look, you can go out there and generate all the damn leads that you want. And it's so funny. You have so many, realtors and team leaders and broker owners reach out to me all the time. They're like, dude, I just need to generate more leads. I need to generate more leads. And I'm like, okay, so let's break this down. How are you generating your leads right now? Let's start breaking that down with me. And then I'll be like, okay, so what are you doing what's your tracking setup look like? How are you tracking these? How are you tracking your overall conversion? So then we all of a sudden identify they don't have a tracking system in place. So then I'm like, okay, let's now then break down what you're doing with these leads. Where are they going? Now, walk me through your step-by-step process. What's the first thing that you do? What's the second thing that you do? What's the third thing that you do? What's the fourth thing that you do? How, what are you emailing them? What are you texting them? What drips are you putting them on? What are your follow-up protocols, campaigns? How long are you following up with them? And then all of a sudden I'm getting looked at like a deer in the headlights. Like, what? Right? I'm like, okay, maybe you don't have so much of a lead gen problem. You have a tracking and lead conversion problem. The vast majority think that leads are the problem, but then we start breaking down very quickly that lead conversion is their problem. And maybe for some, and I'm not saying that this is the case for everybody. That's usually the case for most, but sometimes it's a combo of both. So today I want to cover both, right? So how to generate these leads, but then more or equally, if not more importantly, how to convert these leads so you can go out there and get clients, get a high ROI and kick ass with these, because you can generate all the damn leads that you want, but they're going to be useless if you cannot convert those into appointments. So as I break these down, because look, I know that you guys are all different levels. Some of you are agents on teams. Some of you are individual agents. Some of you are team leaders. Some of you are brokerage owners. What we're going to break down, I'm going to use more specific examples for buyer leads and whatnot today, but all of the, this is the same step I'm running, whether I'm doing agent recruiting ads or going after buyers or sellers, these all the same stuff. So this stuff I'm going to break down to really applies for regardless of how you're creating your ads. All right, so real quick, before we jump in and do a breakdown of this, and make sure you got your pen and paper ready, because I'm going to go through a lot. And I want to make sure that you're taking detailed notes so you know how to do this, because it's a little bit of a science. But before I do that, if you are a real estate agent, if you are a team leader, if you are a brokerage owner, and your business isn't exactly where you want it to be, you're like operating down here, but your full potential is up here. Like maybe you're doing okay. Maybe your business is down. Maybe it's declining. Maybe it's staying stagnant. Maybe it's growing, just not growing at the pace that you want it to. And you just do not know exactly what to do to get from where you're at to making your dream business become a reality. If that is you, I invite you to schedule a 100% free, zero pressure Zoom coaching strategy call with me personally. This is going to be a 1 hour long Zoom coaching call with you and I. And we're going to be breaking down where your business is at, where your business is at currently, what your 12-month goals are, what your long-term goals are. That's really important to know all of those so we can put together the best model, the best strategy, the best overall, steps in place to ensure not just that you hit your 12-month goal, but you also hit your long-term vision. Then from there, we're going to break down what you're currently doing, what your biggest bottlenecks are, obstacles are, sticking points, blocks that are prohibiting you from making your goals a reality. Then from there, I'm going to map out for you exactly what I recommend that you do to get from where you're at to where you want to go in the quickest, most effective, efficient, profitable manner possible. So you will not leave this free Zoom coaching call with not knowing exactly what you must do to go out there and get from where you're at to where you want to go. I'm going to make sure that you have full clarity on that. I promise you that. So if this is something you want to schedule, go to www.gsdmode.com/Zoom call. www.gsdmode.com/Zoom call. You have my word. This is not some, I had a lady the other day, I jumped on her. She's like, oh my God, I'm so shocked you're actually helping me and giving me so much value. I'm like, well, what do you mean? It's a free coaching call, right? That's what this is for. And she's like, yeah, but I've been on these with all these other coaches and they say it's a free coaching call, but they just sell you a bunch of shit. And I'm like, no, dude, I'm here to coach you. I'm here to make sure that I usually charge $1,000 an hour for these. I'm doing these for free for you guys for a limited amount of time here, to just help give back and help all of you amazing GSD Modes listeners and watchers that have supported me so much over the 8-year journey of doing this channel. I'm like, no, like this is not some fucking just sales pitch bullshit, shit. Like, no, I'm going to walk you through a coaching call. This is a coaching call, right? So if you want access to me and if you want to know exactly what to do to get from where you're at to where you want to go ahead and book this right now. Now, full disclosure, yes, I spent about 10 minutes at the end, because we got 50 minutes, more than enough time to make sure that you know exactly what to do to get from where you're at to where you want to go. Plenty of time. Then from there, yeah, I'm going to walk you through what my coaching program entails at the end. Spend a few minutes on that. If it's for you, great. If not, that's okay too. I don't hard sell. Look, I don't need business that bad. I'm not going to beg you. I'm not going to ask you, I'm not going to hard sell you, make you feel guilty. Look, if it's for you want to roll forward, cool. If not, that's okay too. We could still be friends. You have my word that this will be extremely powerful. I will not waste your time. The only thing I ask in return is if you book this, you don't waste my time by not showing up, right? So I think that's fair enough. I won't waste your time. You have my word. I will pour into you. I'll make sure you know what to do. Just don't waste my time by not showing up. All right, so once you book that, you're going to land on a video, very important video to watch. That's going to break you through how this is going to go, how to prep for it so we can get the most out of our time together. Okay, enough on that. Let's jump into paid Facebook ads here. Okay, we're first going to go through the ad creation themselves. Okay, so before we even jump into Facebook, before we jump into Ads Manager, before we jump into all of that, there's a few things that are really important here. All right, first you got to understand who you are targeting. This is the reason why when you go pay these ad companies, have so many people like, oh, well, and they'll think that like insert CRM company name. They'll be like, oh, these are the, XYZ leads. I'm like, they are not XYZ leads. There's Facebook leads, there's Instagram leads, there's Google pay-per-click leads. They're all same caliber of leads. You just have them running them for you. But the reason why those are typically so low converting and so ineffective is because when you hire an agency, they don't do this part, right? I'm not saying that all there's some good agencies out there, but what I am saying is like, there's a reason why I run all my own ads myself, right? Is because I know that when I outsource this stuff, like they ain't going to nail this beginning portion, which is the most outside of the follow-up. This is the most important element to nail this. And even more so probably than the follow-up, right? It all comes together. So I don't want to say you can do one, like if you don't do all of these things we're going to break down today, like you're going to convert low and you might as well just not even do these. But you got to know who you are targeting. And now we're talking about specifically Facebook ads for 2024. Okay, right now, we are in the most if not the, but close to the most unaffordable time to ever go out there and acquire real estate, United States recorded history. We're at the most unaffordable time, hands down, the most unaffordable time to be alive as a U.S. citizen. It's fucking crazy out there, right? Every time you go to the grocery store, every time you go pump gas, every time, like life today is, double what it was just 4 years ago. Like our dollar is losing value like that. It's like we're watching, our dollar being counterfeited like it was in Rome, where they're just like taking these gold coins and adding copper to it. Like we're watching our fucking dollars be valued like overnight. It's just crazy shit that we're seeing right now. Right. So, okay, we've omitted 50, 60+% of people that are typically buying and selling real estate out of the marketplace. Right. So right now we just cut everything in half, right. So now we got to be more strategic than ever before. We got to target who has the highest probability of buying and selling. Where's that need? Where is that urgency? We're not shotgunning shit out there. We need to get very clear on the who. Who are we targeting that has the highest probability of needing to buy, needing to sell, or if I'm doing agent recruiting, that has the highest probability of being recruited like in the quickest amount of time possible, right? So we got to, okay, who are we targeting? You got to know that because your ads are going to speak to who you are targeting. Okay, so I break this down. So I'm in Phoenix, Arizona, and I'm going to share this with you, and you can go out there and put these pieces together for your own business. But I'm telling you, this is one of the most key points here right now because I'm seeing so many people just shit the bed here in 2024 and in 2023 because they're doing this shit, same shit that they did in 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, where the market was the opposite. Everybody was wanting to buy and sell. Just situations were different, right? We have to adapt. Okay, so I know the top 10 states, and I know the top metros within those states that people are relocating to my market from. So now not only can I get very specific to targeting the locations that people are moving to my market from, and also there's going to be people on a local level. So I'm going to run those ads. I'm going to run each of these as separate ads, right? So I can, separate these, from locals versus each of these states and each of the metros within those states, right? Because we got to get very laser target on where specifically our leads are coming from and where specifically our clients are coming from. Okay, so I know those, right? So then I'll give an example right now. So, okay, locals in my market, not that I'm not running some local ads, but because I run them all separately, I can see what my cost per leads are. I can see, how many those leads I'm turning into clients. So on a local level, my conversions are much lower and my leads are lesser, right? Because they're like, oh man, this $800,000 house today. 6 years ago, that house was 350 because of all this freaking stupid ass inflation. I know a lot of realtors like, oh, it's so nice having these high prices. I'm like, okay, you just, and I'm not saying it's not because we're all in this business together, but it's like, okay, the only reason all this inflation, it's dude, every time inflation happens, our dollar's worth less, right? To the point where if this continues to scale, our dollar's going to be worthless, right? So, but it just is what it is, right? So locals are like, oh shit, man, like the house that's 800 a day used to be worth 350. But then guess what? Median incomes haven't kept up. Median income is pretty much the same as it was 6 years ago when the house was 350. Now it's 800. They're like, number one, that's absurd. I can't imagine paying 800 for that house. Number two, I don't have the income to support it to be able to do that. So I'm looking at, okay, who is this a win for? What are those markets? Who can I target that are like, holy shit, this is amazing. This is a win. Okay, I know that California, a lot of people from California move. It's one of the top states where people are relocating to my market from. But then within there, I'm not going to target all of California. That would be very expensive for me to do. So then I know, because I don't just know the states, I know the metros within those states that people are moving to my market from. Right. So there's only 3 metros in all of California that like fucking over 90% of the people moving to my market are coming from in California. You got San Francisco Bay Area. We got Riverside County, right? Or so Riverside, outside of LA. And then we got San Diego. So, okay, let's just say where I'm having a ton of success is San Francisco Bay Area. Okay, so they're up there, right? Families living up there. They're living in a 3-bed, 2-bath, let's just say 1,300 square foot house. Excuse me. 3-bed, 2-bath, 1,300 square foot house that's 100 years old. That is, I don't know, 1.5 million. They no longer feel safe in their own area because of, things that are going on up there and homelessness. Like just, they have their reasons for wanting to get the hell out of there. So then from there, they're able to sell that for that 1.5 million, relocate here to Phoenix to my market, go out there and buy something that is either brand new or close to brand new. That's like 4,000 square feet plus. That feels like a freaking mansion, right? That's tricked out for like 800 grand, 700 grand, depending on the area. So, okay, they're massively upgrading in style of home, overall lifestyle, quality of life, all that shit that they don't like dealing with there anymore. But they're able to massively downsize when it comes to the financial position. Right. So for them, they're like, damn, this is a steal. This is a song. Plus, they have the income, they have the down payment, right? They have the funds and the means to do that. So that's what I mean of like, who are you targeting where they're like, oh shit, dude, like they have the highest probability of making this move and being able to make this move. Really, really important. So make sure that you nail this, right? So then I not only know who to target, but now I know what my ad needs to say. Like I know what they want. I know the types of properties that they want. I know what they're looking for. I know how to like that ad should speak specifically to them, that person, the people that you're targeting, right? Okay, so that's first step. Now, second step, we're going to talk about setup. Okay, so first off, I'm going to go into my CRM, right? Whatever CRM you're using, I use Perfect Storm, so whatever that is that you're utilizing. If you're not using Perfect Storm, I don't know why you're not. Hands down the best and most affordable CRM platform that exists out there and website system, but I'm a little bit biased, right? It's my platform. I own it, but anyway, with that, I'm going to go into Perfect Storm because we have the marketing link builder tool. I'm able to build out the property parameters, all the tracking parameters. So I can not only know that this came from a Facebook ad, I know exactly what ad it came from, what ad set, what ad within that ad set. But we got to make sure that, okay, we got the link for the landing page that we're going to send them to. Right now, this is going to be very specific to speaking to what they want. Okay, in that situation, with the buyers that I'm targeting, I know that these are going to be, move up buyers. They're looking for, 4-bedroom plus, 2.5 bath or 3-bathroom plus, 2,500 square feet, move in, tricked out, ready homes. 3-car garage, swimming pools. They don't want deferred maintenance, in that $600 to $1 million price point, right? So I'm running these ads that are very specific, right? You want to show what people want to the people that are in the current pain with their current situation. They want out of that pain. They want to get to pleasure. I'm showing the people the pleasure. So thinking about this, like, okay, if you're an airline, right? You're not selling the airline, you're selling the vacation, right? You're selling what they want. Then from there, it's like, okay, then once they've raised their hand that, man, I want to go to Bora Bora. I want to be on those huts. I want that blue, that blue water, that turquoise blue water and that white sand. I want to be on one of those fucking huts, out there where I just get to detach from life. And, that's utopia. Once they've raised their hand for that, well, then they need an airline. Right. So that's the same thing here. Right. So we're not the airline, but we are the guide to get them from point A to point B. Right. Just like the airline, it gets them from, where they're living now to that freaking hut in Bora Bora. Right. So I'm going to sell the vacation. The vacation is the dream house, the dream scenario, the dream thing that they want. And I'm showing it to the people in the pain. Right. So that's why we got to know the who. Right. So then from there, okay, I'm going to target my ad all around that. So my imagery, my ads, right, my ad copy, all of it's going to speak to that specifically. All right, so I got to come up with a link. Then I got to come up with the image copy. So the image copy should represent and know what's popular. Like in my area, I know do people want tricked out backyards with swimming pools, palm trees, blue skies, looks like a resort, in the back. Like I know that, man, that's what crushes it. Secondaries, tricked out kitchens, huge, big islands. But man, right? So I'm going to get imagery for my ad because like the image is what gets them to stop the thumbing. They're thumbing through their Facebook feed or their Instagram feed. I need to get them the image gets them to stop, right? Then they're going to read the headline. Then they're going to read the description. And then boom, if we do it right, they're going to opt in for that ad, right? So we got to make sure, okay, we nail the image, right? Then we got our ad copy nailed and dialed in. So we got to make sure, okay, those are the pieces before we actually get in a Facebook ad manager and start pushing the buttons. And I know I'm spending a lot of time on this, but this is the shit people don't spend time on. And this is why they just suck at Facebook ads, the vast majority of people, right? And this is why when you go out there and hire people to just pay, they're just going to try to get the lowest cost per lead. And this is why the quality of leads suck because you're not running the right ads to the right people that are speaking what they want to like. I'm not so interested in cost per lead. What I'm interested in is cost per acquisition. How many leads? How much do I have to pay to acquire that client? How much do I make? Okay, if I can spend $500 to go make 15 grand, like would I take that deal? Yeah. But why does it matter if my lead is $15 if I have much higher quality leads and I'm able to convert 1 out of 30 versus getting $2 leads and I'm having to convert 1 out of 500, right? So hopefully you understand that point. Okay, so then from there, you're going to log into Facebook Ads Manager. Now, I know most of you are listening to this and most of you don't watch this. So I'm not going to log into Ads Manager. I'm just going to walk you through. I've run so many of these. I've got this shit, I memorized all the buttons, right? So I'm just going to walk you through what buttons to push. Okay, so you're going to go into Facebook Ads Manager. You're going to create an ad. Right now, I recommend, again, for each of the different markets that you're doing. Now, there's people tell you, oh, there's better, methodical, cleaner ways to look, just run a different campaign for every different ad that you're doing. Just to, keep it super simple. So let's just say I'm running, this ad to San Francisco Bay Area. That's going to be a separate campaign. If I'm running one to Riverside, that's a separate campaign. If I'm running one to San Diego, that's a separate campaign. If I'm running them locally, that's a separate campaign, right? So now we're going to create the campaign at the campaign level. Going to go create new ad. Now Facebook's going to have a pop-up and asking, do you want to use Facebook, to kind of auto create the ad for you? For me, nope. I'm going to select manual and I'm going to start setting this up manual. Now, the first thing when you create ad, it's going to ask you the objective. Right. Right now we're talking about creating a lead ad. So you're going to create you're going to hit leads because we're talking about generating leads, right? So you're going to create leads as the objective. Then it's going to take you to the next thing where again, you're going to click manual that you want to set this up manually. If you're doing it how I do it, well, I'm going to walk you through here. So you're going to create manual. Then from there, now it's going to start you on the campaign level. So when it comes to the campaign, the ad set and the ad, I'm going to name all the same naming convention. So it might be like, San Francisco or Bay Area dash homes in Peoria, Arizona, 5+ bedrooms, pools, date, right? So that might be the name because I want to have the naming conventions because I don't want to know that these just came in from Facebook, right? I also want to know what was the exact ad, what was the exact ad copy, ad set that, turn this into a client so I can replicate and scale what works more. Okay. So I've got the naming convention down. Right. Then from there, you're going to select what your budget is, on now you could just do CB, like you can do it where your budget's going to be spread out at the campaign level. That's fine, because we're not going to create a bunch of different ad sets inside there. So whatever your budget is, now people always ask me, what budget should I run? Okay, well, what can you afford to run for the next, 6 to 9 months, maybe even 12 months, worst case scenario, without having any conversions? Right? Like without making any money. What can you afford to run? What is your budget? Because this is typically a longer time lead cycle. Now, this is hopefully the best plan for the worst, right? So hopefully you're going to convert a lead much quicker than that. But the average lead over time is in my system 6.7 months before becoming a client. So average time frame is about 9 to 10 months before I get a payday, right? Now, if you're doing enough of these volume and you're good at this stuff, like look, you're going to start popping some possibly sooner than that. Most people do, but then that way it just allows you to, like, should I run $5 a day? Should I run $10 a day? Should I run $20 a day? Depends on how much can you afford to spend for how long without making any money. Because what you don't want to do is get into this 2 months and be like, oh, I'm not making any money, I got to bail, right? This is a longer term play. Okay, so then from there, now we're going to open up the ad set level. Once we click the next button, now opens into the ad set level, right? So in the ad set level, now you're going to select instant lead forms, right? So it's going to ask, like, do you want to drive people to your website? You want to do instant forms, right? So this is where they're going to opt in with their information inside Facebook. So you're going to select instant forms. Then from there, you're going to scroll down. If you're running and split testing a lot of different photos, like you can do the dynamic, but assuming that you just have one great image that you already know converts, right? You don't need to check that dynamic creative button, but that dynamic creative button does allow you to run up to like 9 different images, right? So if you have a bunch of images that you want to split test, and just Facebook will just go out there and start running then the images that convert the best, you can do that, right? Or if you just have one great image, okay, just keep that button off, right? Then from there, we're going to select your targeting. So this is where you're going to select, okay, like San Francisco Bay Area or whatever that market is, or if you're local city, whatever, this is where you're going to start putting in the city, all of that stuff, right? Then from there, we want to exclude. This is really important. You want to build out custom audiences. So you're going to exclude, and what I recommend to do here is go into your CRM, export your whole entire CRM list into a CSV file where you got first name, last name, phone number, email at a minimum. So then we can upload that into a custom audience in your Facebook, your Facebook business settings, right? So then that way, okay, I am going to exclude anybody that's already in my CRM, because I do not want to pay for leads twice, right? And then also I recommend to create another custom audience that is going to exclude anybody that opts into your lead forms. So you can do lead form, you can select all the lead forms. So then when you're done with creating this ad and creating this new lead form, then you're going to edit the audience afterwards and then add and update it to exclude this lead form. So then way on this ad, you're hitting anybody in that target market that you're going after, but it's excluding anybody that's already in your CRM or anybody that's already opted into this lead form or any other lead form. Right. So that's what I recommend that you do. And then every 30 days, I do an updated export from my database, and I edit that audience and replug those in there. Because look, I find so many people waste like 20% of their Facebook budget on duplicate leads, on people that have already had, like, why do that? Right. They're already in your system. Okay. So then from there, now we got, okay, like, you got your targeting, your demographics, you got like back in the day, we used to do things like, mortgage calculator, or if there's, searching on Zillow, look, just leave all that shit alone. Facebook does a way better job. Like, I just let Facebook do its thing. This is what's great about this. Facebook's gotten so damn good. It takes about 5 minutes to launch an ad. Facebook's so good now. Your phone through your social media app. I don't know if you've ever read the Facebook or Instagram terms and conditions, but go read them, man. It blows your damn mind, right? Like, okay, Facebook, like your microphone, they have access to everything you're saying, every video, every website, every keystroke, everything that you do. You give them access to every device within 6 feet of your phone or any device that you're logged into Facebook, whether it's your device, your wife's device, your spouse, friends, whatever. So like, dude, like Facebook knows what your pooping schedule is, right? So they know if somebody's looking to buy or sell or whatever. And Facebook wants you to have success with your ads, because the more success that you have with your ads, the more there's money that you're going to spend with them. So like, I just let Facebook do its thing, right? Like, I'm not selecting any, interests or any of that. Now, one thing I forgot. So go back to the campaign level. if you're running buyer or seller style ads. Now, if you're running agent recruit ads, that's B2B, this doesn't apply. But if you are running consumer ads like buyer or seller ads, you're going to have to select that special ad category on the campaign level and select that you're in real estate. So go back a step, do that real quick, and then, okay, now move forward. Now, when you select that special ad category, that is not going to allow you to select male, female, age, but again, it didn't matter. Right? Okay, then below that, you're going to select placement. Just let Facebook do its thing, right? So Facebook's going to be, all different placement, all like when I go out there and split test this stuff, Facebook outperforms me every single time. Again, Facebook's gotten so damn good with this stuff. When I say Facebook, I'm talking Facebook, Instagram. It's all ran out of the same platform. So I just let Facebook do its thing. Okay, so then now I click next. That's going to take me to the ad level, right? So you got the ad campaign, ad set, ad level, right? And remember, I'm going to have the same naming convention on all of this. So just copy and paste the campaign name to the ad set name to the ad name. Then from there, here's where we're going to input our photo or photos, or if you're doing a video, I get the best results out of single image, just badass single image ads. This is where we're going to add our headline. This is where we're going to add the description. This is where we're going to add the learn more button. Right. This is where we're going to add all those things that we already talked about, like making sure that you're nailing you got the right image, you got the right headline, you got the right ad copy, right. Then we're going to add the learn more button, to it, like going to nail those things. Right. Then from there, once that's dialed in, now you're probably, if you're running these to all audiences, you're probably going to make sure that it's going to ask you to make sure that your Instagram page is selected. So make sure you got the right business page and Instagram page selected on those. But if you guys ran ads before, you know how to do that, but you'll be able to see that. Then from there, it's going to make you then create a new lead form. So create a new lead form. Now on that lead form, it's going to just walk you the steps, easy to build out. Right. So on that lead form, it's going to walk you through what the requirements are that we need for this, like what the questions are. So for me, I get hands down the best results, and I've tried all like that, adding additional questions of like, oh, what time frame looking to buy? What's the I just found like the best to just eliminate all that shit. I'm just not just asking, I'm requiring first name, last name, phone number, email for them to opt in. So I'm requiring those. It's going to make you put in a message about how you're using their data. So it's just like, your data is going to be utilized to send you any properties that meet your criteria the second they come available. Right. Then it's going to ask you to enter privacy, what your privacy policy is for your business. If you guys have a perfect storm website, whatever your URL.com is /privacy, right? That's going to be the privacy policy that we've already built out for you that you can plug inside there. If you don't have a privacy policy, you're going to need to come up with one and get one together. Then from there, you're going to be able to, once they've opted in, the last step of the lead form is going to be to send them to the landing page that they're able to go see all the homes that are in that criteria that we already talked about. That's where we're going to put the link, where now once they've opted in, now we click on that, like, check out your list of pool homes, click here, right? Then boom, they go to the website. But that's after they've already opted in, right? And then on that lead form, it's also, when you first create, it's going to ask you like what image you want to use for the background. I get the best results when everything's congruent. So when I use the same image from the ad, right, for that. So then everything looks the same. They know they're in the right place. Right. So everything speaks to the same thing, like on that lead form, like in the paragraph, all that speaks to what was in the ad copy of the ad. So everything's congruent. So then, okay, once the lead form is built out, click save, boom. Now the ad is ready to be launched. Now you click launch the ad, right. Or publish the ad. Then from there, once it's published, now it can take up to 24 hours for Facebook to approve it, because Facebook's going to go through and do its thing to have to approve it, have to go through their AI or robots or whatever the shit is to make sure it's compliant and approve it. So while it's doing that, now I'm going to go back into audiences. So those three little lines on the left-hand side of your computer, click on those, say where it says audiences. Now I'm going to go to my lead form custom audience and then select an ad, that new lead form that I just created, to that custom audience. So anybody that completes that lead form then won't be retargeted or targeted in that ad, right? Because I don't want to be spending money on people that are already leads inside my system. Now, the next step is to make sure that you connected that lead form with your website. So, if you're a Perfect Storm, we have a native integration that natively integrates with their API. So you'll be good to go here. Right. I mean, because I'm a control freak, OCD freak. So I go into my personal settings, go to my Facebook integration, make sure that lead form pulled through, which it has, even though I've checked it 1,000 times, it's always there. but again, my OCD, forced me to do that. Now, if you have to use Zapier with your CRM or whatever, you got to have to create the Zap afterwards because you want to get those leads to auto dump into your CRM. Now, this is going to bring us into portion 2 of this. Right now, we just walked, okay, we launched the ad. Now the ad's generating leads. Now we got to convert these leads. This is where the fucking money maker's at. This is what you got to pay attention to here, right? Like all that shit we just talked about is important because you got to get the right leads at the right cost for, all of those things. But now this is where the money's at, man, is that follow up. So here's what I recommend. Fortune is in the follow up, right? So again, understand we got to know timeline and psychology of every lead source to maximize conversions. Average Facebook lead is going to be in your system 6.7 months before they become a client if your follow-up is dialed in, right? So we got to have these are longer-term nurture campaigns. Okay, so I'm going to have it set up where that lead comes in, boom, they're going to get an autoresponder email, autoresponder text message. I'm going to have them automatically set up and triggered on my 1,000-day email text drip campaign. So boom, they start like all this is happening automatically. So I've already got campaigns that are following up for the next 1,000 days. Then I'm going to have my CRM auto task me to start calling that lead and QC and set up a couple other things on that lead, right? So automatically I'm going to task new lead that comes in so I can call that lead in that same day. It's also going to tell me in that task to set up my instant property alerts. So then based on the ad style that they opted in for, now I'm going to set them up also on instant property alerts. So anybody meets their criteria, it's automatically going to be emailed to them because I want to beat them to Zillow, right? So then boom, second it comes available on us, bam, it's emailed to them, right? That meets their criteria based on what they opted in for that with that ad, right? Then from there, okay, I got to do my phone calls. So I got all that shit just auto, so it's like, with instant alerts, let's just say a property day is coming available, it's meeting the criteria, so they're going to email a day from that with me, right? Then from the email and text follow-up, they're hearing from me every few days with that. Then I got a series of broadcast emails, like what's happening in the area, right? Holiday emails, monthly market update reports. So they're getting, an average of 5.5 monthly broadcast mass emails from me. Then we got the phone calls. Right now, the phone calls is where the true money is made. I don't care if you're doing outbound or inbound, dude. Like you got to dial in your phone skills. Phone calls are the money, right? So I start everybody off on what's called a no time frame established drip. Now I have my CRM set up in perfect storm, but all this is auto triggered. Right? Like, dude, like the system is just telling me what to do, when to do. Like all the things that we just went through, like is already auto triggered, already done. Other than I got to click 2 buttons to set the property alert, right? But everything else is just auto done, autopilot, right? Now the system's going to start telling me who I got to call, when I got to call them, right? So the initial note, because I haven't had a conversation with them yet, so I haven't identified their timeline. So they're on what's called a no time frame established call tasking drip. So that's going to task me to call them day 1, then every other day for the first 14 days, then every 21 days for the first year. If I can't get a hold of them after the first year, then I just let automation do its thing. But it's very rare I'll get a hold of them in the first year, right? Then from there, once I've established their timeline and their goal, then from there, I put them on the appropriate, under 6 months, 6 to 12 months, 1+ year out call tasking drip campaign. And those are going to differentiate based on how far that they're out. Right. So then from there, it's just like your CRM becomes your assistant, right? It's going to do the things it can do for you. The things it can't do for you, it's going to remind you to do those things so you don't forget and things don't drop through the cracks. Right. All right. So then from there, what am I doing on these calls? Now I'm here to tell you, when you're doing pay-per-click, whether it's Google pay-per-click, whether it's Facebook pay-per-click, Instagram pay-per-click, all leads are pretty much the same. Quality leads pretty much the same, right? So then from there, timeframes are pretty much the same. Like you got to know how to handle these. If I treat a Facebook lead the same way I treat a Zillow lead, they're going to freak out and they're never going to answer my call again. So we've got to have a very low tone. Right? We got to diffuse that sales resistance. We got to pre-frame this right. So like here's an example, pre-framing. Right? For a Facebook lead or Instagram lead or Google pay-per-click lead, like what do they always say to us? Because part of pre-framing, just meaning how do we set the stage to remove and eliminate, obstacles and have a great conversation so I can identify timeline and goals. Okay, so what do these leads always say? Well, I'm not looking, I'm just browsing. Okay, so I know if I know that that's what they're going to say, I'm going to bring that up before they even bring it up. So I don't even have that objection in the first place, right? Best way to not get objections is to remove those objections in the first place, right? So when I'm having a conversation with them, it's, hey, I know that, this is after my opener. We'll talk about a few other points. But then as I'm getting into establishing timeline and goals, it's, hey, I know that you're just browsing, not looking to make a move now or probably anytime at all in the, the near future, so just hypothetically speaking, if you were to make a possible move in the future, what would you say your best guesstimate on when that might be? Within 6 months, 12 months, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. Again, what's your best guesstimate, just hypothetically speaking, on when that might possibly be? Probably, I don't know, maybe the next 1 to 2 years. Okay, great. Appreciate that, right? So then what do they tell me? I'm going to cut that in half. Now I've established their timeline. So now I know what my follow-up call protocol needs to be from there. Then I'm going to transition into the goals. So once they tell me that, okay, well, I appreciate that. And I know that we're just talking hypothetically here, but if you were to make this possible move in the next, 1 to 2 years, I mean, what would you say is most important to you in the home that you'd be buying? And then I'm going to start with location, then go to the home itself, and then I'll go into the pain of the current living situation. Like there's a process that we walk them through, which you really have to refine and get dialed in and know how to do this stuff. So then we can have that effective follow-up, right? But that is an example of how I'm going to speak to them and remove those just one-off, shut down obstacles so we can have effective conversations. So then, because then from there, it's like, objective, highest level objective of conversation number one is to establish goal, establish timeline, set the appointment if appropriate. If not able to set the appointment or not appropriate, to establish what our next follow-up or best follow-up protocol is to convert them for when they're ready based on their timeline and based on what the goals they have. Goals allow us to just have more effective follow-up, understanding those, send them more shit that's important to them, whatever. Timeline is, how long, how frequent do we need to make those touches to maximize conversions, right? So then from there, every subsequent call after the initial call, once we've established those things, is to continue building rapport, and then reconfirm, reestablish goals and timelines, right? And then as it gets closer, once it's appropriate, there's going to be a timeline in there. There's a specific timeline that hits for me where it's like, okay, I'm going to be very strict now at being aggressive at going in for those appointments. Aggressive with frequency, never aggressive with people. If you get aggressive with these people, if you sound salesy, if you sound pushy, if you sound hard, like you're going to scare these people away, right? I call it selling without selling, right? Selling in a way where they never feel like they're being sold. Yes, you're selling. Yes, you're leading the process, but they do not feel as if they are being sold. Okay, so then from there, okay, now you got your follow-up protocol dialed in, and look, you're doing good follow-up when you're converting at least 2% with Facebook leads, right? So you should be converting at least 1 out of 50. Industry average is, I don't know, 1 out of 300, right? Decent is 1 out of 100. But if you're, you're doing good if you're at 1 out of 50 or less, right? And then now let's talk about, okay, now you got these ads that are working. How do you scale these best? So just kind of a rule of thumb that I follow. There's different scale strategies, but it's about a 30% budget increase about every 5 days. Because you don't want to just go in there and start doubling or tripling your ad spend, because Facebook does not scale well. So, okay, if I've got this ad campaign that's doing really well, generate a lot of leads, having a lot of great conversations, right? And I want to keep scaling it up. I'm going to scale it at 30% every 5 days. So I'll scale it, sit there, wait, and make sure it keeps converting and it's not starting to break. Wait for that 5 days. And if everything's performing great, I'm getting good leads and my cost per lead is appropriate, I'm still having great conversations and, all of that. Okay. Then I'll just compete or continue that process. And then the fifth element is like, make sure you're tracking your data. Play red light, green light, with this where, like for me, I'll start with a certain budget, wait till I'm getting at least a 4x ROI at a minimum. Now, Facebook, you should be getting a 10x ROI, right? But at a minimum, wait until you're getting a 4x ROI, meaning sticking $1 to Facebook, you're making $4 back. So maybe you're spending $1,000 a month, you're making at least 4 G's back. Like that's going to be my minimum ROI with anything that I do, right? Well, I'm going to stick at that budget until I'm consistently getting, and for me, when I say consistent, I like to see 3 consistent months in a row of that 4x or more ROI. Then I know, okay, now it's appropriate to start scaling. And then I'll scale to the point where I can, hopefully double that budget if it holds good with that ad. And then I'll sit there and then wait again till I'm now making 4x on that new scaled budget. And then it's just repeat. But you got to be tracking your numbers. You got to know what your overall ROI is, what your cost per acquisition is. Track your data so you can have results with this. I mean, this is what pros do, man. If you want to be a pro and convert at a high level, otherwise you can just sit there and complain about the lack of results that you're getting, like everybody else does in our industry, because they choose to not take this stuff seriously. And then they're like, oh, it's too much work. I'm like, okay, just exhausting and wasting a bunch of money is not a lot of work. Having low conversions and, it's a lot less work to do this shit and get great results than it is to not do this shit and struggle and then have to complain, bitch, moan, and whine and just exhaust money, right? So anyway, I hope that this is helpful. And again, you guys, If you want to take advantage of scheduling a 100% free Zoom coaching call with me so I can help you get dialed and get to the next level inside your real estate business, you can go to www.gsdmode.com/Zoom call. www.gsdmode.com/Zoom call. Again, we're going to break down where your business is at, where your 12-month goals are, what your long-term goals are, what you're doing, what your sticking points are. And I'm going to make sure that you know exactly what to do to get from where you're at to where you want to go before the end of the Zoom call. You are going to have 100% extreme clarity on what you need to do to get from where you're at to where it is that you want to go. You have my word on that. I got your back on this. I will get you dialed in. This is not some bullshit bait and switch, just sales pitch call. No, I'm going to pour into you. We're going to get you rock and roll. And yeah, we're going to spend 50 minutes doing that. And yeah, I'm going to spend 10 minutes at the end walking through what my coaching program entails. And if it's a fit for you, great. If not, that's okay too. Everything I do, zero pressure. I'm not going to beg you. Look, I don't need business that bad to beg you guys, right? Like, hey, here's what I got. If it's for you, cool. If you want this advanced help, great. If not, that's okay too, dude. Like we can still be friends. But here's what I can promise you. Whether you ever do any element of additional coaching outside this free coaching call with me or not, this will be massively valuable to you. Most common feedback that I get from people that jump on these. So, your other agents just like you, other team leaders just like you, other brokerage owners just like you is, man, this is the most value I've gotten. I've got more value in this time together than I ever have from my brokerage owner. I ever have from these other coaches I've been paying. Happens all the time. Man, I'm working with XYZ coach. I've been paying them 10 grand already over the last 6 months. I got more value out of this 50-minute call with you than I have this whole time with them for free, right? So these normally I charge $1,000 an hour for my one-on-one coaching consulting time. So I'm offering this for free for you. If you want to take advantage of it, and I'm not trying to sell this hard. I'm trying to sell this because I want to help you. If you are struggling, I got your back. I will turn things around. I will help you get dialed in. But I can't schedule this for you, right? Like you got to schedule it. You got to show up. It's like you're drowning in quicksand. I'm throwing you the rope right now. All you got to do is grab the rope. I will pull you out. I got your back. I got you covered, man. But you got to grab the rope. If you don't grab the rope and you drown, it's nobody's fault but your own, right? So anyway, if you want to schedule that, www.gsdmode.com/Zoom call. I am getting close to about 2 weeks booked out with these, so book it as soon as possible because this is just blowing up. It's before you know, it's going to be probably a month booked out with these because it's flooding that much more than I thought. Originally I thought, okay, I was going to be doing about 3 or 4 of these a day. I didn't realize you guys were going to, these were going to be in so much demand, which I love seeing. I'm not complaining. I love it. I'm trying to allocate more time, but right now I'm already allocating like 8 hours a day. Right, to jump on these coaching calls with you guys, which again, I love, and I love doing it. It's just more than I thought, right? So my schedule, because it's going to be with me. I'm not having to go to somebody else, right? So, so book it so you can get in sooner than later because they are filling up quickly. The only thing I ask, if you schedule it, make sure that you show up. You're going to see once you schedule, you're going to go through a video where I'm going to prep you, of what's going to expect on the call, how to get prepared for the call, whatever. But I've got a very strict no-show policy, meaning if you no-show me, I'm never going to offer free help for you again. Like you can never book one of these again. Like if you want to pay me $1,000 an hour, okay, we can sit there and schedule another one, but I'm never going to, so if you schedule it, make sure you show up. Now you're going to get a reschedule link so you can reschedule if needed. Like shit comes up, life happens. I get it. But there's a reschedule link for that reason. So, but if you just blatantly no-show me, disrespect me, slap me in the face, say, Josh, your time does not fucking matter. My time's more valuable than theirs. I don't care about you, your family, your kids, or the fact that you could have helped somebody else during this hour. I just no-showed you. Look, you do that to me, I'm not going to help you again. Yeah, right? And it happens, man. You guys will be shocked. Dude, there's about 19, I got about 19% no-show rate on these. Blows my mind. And usually it's the people that are struggling the most. It's funny. Right. Like I have a lot of team leaders, broker owners are popping 300-400 units a year, trying to get to 700 units a year. Right. They always show up. They show up 5 minutes, 10 minutes early to the calls. Right. A lot of times it's the agent that's, been doing this a year. They only close 2 deals. They're drowning. And then they no-show me. And I'm like, I wonder why you're struggling in your business, man. 90% of success in life is showing up. You can't even fucking show up for free help. Like, probably just should get out of the business and do yourself a favor and go get a job because you're probably not going to make it in this business anyway. Yeah, I'm not saying that to be a dick, but right. There's usually behavioral trends that lead to maybe a lack of success out there. But anyway, just make sure that you show up. because I will show up. I will pour into you. I got your back. I will get you dialed in 100%. All right, so enough on that. You guys truly appreciate it. Keep crushing, keep kicking ass. Anything I can do to serve, support, and help you, you let me know. Again, www.gsdmode.com/Zoom call. All right, guys, peace out.